Sara's Partyline this morning, brought to you by Chiropractic Connection along with Wimmer Opticians. As today we are talking with the Stearns County Soil Water Conservation District, and you know what that means. Dennis Fuchs is in studio. Good morning, Dennis.
Hey, good morning, Kirby.
And look what you drug in with you once again.
Yeah, look what the cat drug in.
Oh, that's a warm welcome over here.
Yeah. Welcoming back to KASM Radio. As boy, you we were talking a little bit off the air. Your We Are Water event at the Boho Cafe. Those have been well received, huh?
Yes, yeah. We had a private well testing event there last week, and it was steady. It started at 11, and you could drop off your samples at 8 o'clock in the morning already, and there was a bunch of drop-off samples. And it was a steady, we just love seeing the interest in people with private wells having their water tested to make sure there's no nitrates or other contaminants in there. And we had specialists there, consultants, to visit with each one of the folks that had their water tested to talk about what the analysis showed. And we had a few that were a little bit high in nitrates, and you could do some additional sampling. For example, arsenic. Arsenic is across Minnesota, and it's not really, it varies by depth. The best thing to do for arsenic is to have your well tested for arsenic. And we had trout wells there to assist with that, and they also had a special reduction in the cost of that analysis. It's not that expensive. It's less than $50 typically to get that done. And arsenic is something that once you test for it, either you know if you got it or if you don't.
With a yay or a nay, huh?
Yes. Whereas nitrates, that can fluctuate over time. Nitrates occur naturally in the environment. If you have excessive manure or nitrogen fertilizers applied, you could potentially have that move into your groundwater supplies. A leaky septic system, that's another thing that could impact. So those are the things that you need to be aware of. And you know, you drink your water every day. Some days I drink a little less and drink a little more beer, but, you know, that's all right.
Well, beer has water in it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know, like Cold Spring, Third Street Brewery, they put in a reverse osmosis system because their nitrate levels for the city of Cold Spring were approaching the drinking standard, and they wanted to be dang sure that the beer that they produce has the best water possible. And I can assure you it is mighty fine beer based on the water that they use.
You can stamp that one. He's got Dennis' seal of approval, like most beers out there. But Dennis, how often you guys do, the nitrate testing events like that, like you had at the Hobo? Boho. Sorry.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to do that, too.
I got it.
You make that joke off the air. It's just digging a grave on there. Way to go.
It's Boho.
The Boho Cafe.
Art in motion, yes. And I'll just want to give a plug for that facility. What a fantastic place to host the water testing event. We had a lot of folks that show up for lunch, and Greg Conzer, the owner, just a super motivated, passionate person about water, and he's got a bunch of pollinator plantings around his facility. He's got the coolest art out there. If you have not been out there, you got to check it out. It's a great place to go for lunch. And I think in the summer now they're going to be doing wood-fired pizzas out there.
Yep.
And it's right on the bike trail. It's just north of Holdingford.
Yeah, he does live music a lot and stuff like that. It's a cool spot.
Yeah, it's awesome. And actually, we have. Let's talk about the number of events.
Okay.
So typically, we've been doing one a year in Stearns County, and then moving them around. Last year, we were down by Main Prairie Town Hall, close to Kimball. The prior year, I'm trying to think if that was over by St. Joe. We've been out Paynesville. Yeah, so we move around. So this year we're at Holdingford, and then we're going to have another one later in the year, and that'll be out toward Sauk Center, Melrose area. So we'll have two this year. So
you got dates on those?
Not yet.
TBD.
TBD.
Keep listening to KASM Radio.
Keep listening to KASM Radio.
Final Thursday of each month,
Yeah.
9:15, and Dennis could maybe share some information.
Yeah, exactly.
There we
Kirby,
go.
thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome so much.
Yeah.
keeping our listeners informed.
Yeah, so if you're going to be testing your water for like nitrates, it's good to do that every year just to make sure that you're not seeing an increase in nitrates. If you see an increase in nitrates, then there's something going on in your neighborhood. If you got a 50-foot well, there's a zone of influence that you're impacting, and there's something that needs to be evaluated. So let's go back to the We Are Water.
Let's.
This private well testing event that we had at Boho Cafe, and I focused on that.
See, if you concentrate enough, you'll get it right. Something I should maybe try doing every now and then.
It's part of our We Are Water Minnesota exhibit, which is at the Boho Cafe right now. And that is going to be there until June 16th. And if you haven't had a chance to get over there, check it out. It illustrates the connections between water and people, water and our geology, the importance of water here in Minnesota. We're the headwaters state for a couple different watersheds. It's very, very cool. And it's also part of our One Watershed, One Plan. We're kicking off a big planning effort for the Mississippi River Sartell. And that's a watershed that runs from Albany all the way up to Pierce, past Pierce. And it's a planning effort where we're going to be looking at our natural resources in that area. We're going to be looking at where we're finding pollutants across that watershed. And then we're going to be identifying programs and conservation practices to address those pollutants of concern. So we will be working on that over the next year with the partners. That includes, let me name a couple of those counties that are part of that project. Stearns.
Oh, Stearns is in there, are they? Look at that.
Crazy.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Benton and Morrison are big players in that too. And then a little bit of Crow Wing and Mille Lacs are part of that. And there'll be more bystanders because it's a very small portion of their counties that are part of that. But Morrison, Benton, Crow Wing, and Stearns are big players in that. And looking forward to getting that kicked off and running. So the We Are Water exhibit at the Boho Cafe is part of that. And it's 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. is typically the open season there. And if you're wondering the address of this place, it's 1400 4th Street, Holdingford, Minnesota. So if you come off Minnesota or County Road 9 coming into and you hit 17, you just keep going north on that road.
Yep.
And you'll run right into
That
it.
snake's right back up there.
Yeah.
Did you go?
I have been there before.
You have been there.
Yeah, I will say that it's probably one of the warmest, like, welcoming climates, and like when it comes to an art institute or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like you walk in, you get greeted, and they say hi, and it's like, yeah, you want a beer or something? Absolutely. I'll
Yeah.
go and walk around, and the atmosphere is just so welcoming, especially with the owner that Dennis was saying.
Yeah.
It's unprecedented. It's not like when you go into a museum and you don't know much about anything. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
You're there to learn and have fun.
And for that area, just the space, inside seating, outside seating, the wood fire, pizza outside, and the taps inside, the art. They got a couple frisbee golf holes and stuff like that. It's like, Jeeps, place has got it all right on the Wobegon Trail as well. So, yeah, it's a cool spot.
The day of the private well testing event, there was a couple of bikers there. They were from northwest Iowa, and they were just very impressed with this area of Minnesota and loved the Wobegon Trail. And it was just fun visiting with them, and they really appreciate what we have here in central Minnesota. And hopefully the listeners appreciate what we got going on here, too. 2.5
minutes, Dennis, before we got to press pause. Did you catch anything at the water testing where it's like, someone was super glad, like, wow, I had no idea that this was in my water. I'm glad I came here today.
I have not seen the summary of the results yet, and I was working the parking lot with a flag, so I was doing a lot of dancing in the parking lot.
Attendant, I like it.
Yeah, I actually
interpretive with the flag too. I like it.
I wanted to kind of provide some art before they actually got into art in motion.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Wait a minute. That was a beer. That wasn't a flag. What are you talking about?
Park over there. Park over there.
But yeah, it was a fantastic day. We got just a little sprinkle of rain, and it was very well attended.
But you're excited to see the summary report, to see some results and stuff like that?
Yeah, typically we'll see for private well testing for nitrates, we could see anywhere between 10 to 20% of the wells exceeding the drinking standard of 10 part per million. And nitrates exceeding that is a very big concern for infants less than 6 months of age, where you can get the blue baby syndrome, where the nitrates tie up the oxygen and they can suffocate. And we haven't had any deaths for many years on that because we've been keeping eyes on that. But that's a concern. So definitely something that folks should keep an eye out for. And then I forgot to mention some of the major threats in that watershed include loss of shoreline buffers increased nutrient contaminants and sedimentation from stormwater runoff, from developments and other non-point sources, loss of biodiversity due to competition from invasive species, and a relatively high percentage of agriculture and urban residential land uses in the riparian sensitive areas of the watershed. So those are some of the things we're going to be looking at as we go through the one watershed, one plan process, the comprehensive planning process for the Mississippi River Sartell. So that's the name of that watershed. It also includes the city of Sartell,
Sure.
along with Albany, and the water from here flows toward the Mississippi.
Makes
and,
its way that way, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a great opportunity to plan and to work with a variety of partners. We'll be working with counties, SWCDs, and there's no watershed districts in this particular watershed. And as far as I know, there's no tribes that we'll be working with in this area. But it's a great partnership, and we are looking forward to solving some problems and implementing conservation practices.
We got to take a break here. Much more to come. Talking Soil Water Conservation District here on your. We are back to On Sara's Party Line on your Thursday. 69 degrees right now in central Minnesota. Dennis, you did a lot of talking there in the first portion. Did you bring a guest in today or no?
Yeah, you know what? We did bring Logan Berg from NRCS.
You did?
Here.
Where's
Where is he?
Who's that?
Where's that guy at?
No, I'm here. I'm here, ready and willing.
Logan, busy time of year. Been talking with a lot of growers.
We were just talking about Dennis. Me and Dennis were just talking outside here just a little bit ago and saying, I asked him, has it ever been as busy as it is right now with programs and farmers coming in asking questions about conservation? And yeah, Dennis, what did you say?
Well, the Inflation Reduction Act opened up a whole variety of programs with other partners and just a lot of questions on, who's running which program. And there is a tremendous opportunity for farmers, especially to take advantage of some additional incentives right now out there to, take a look at soil health practices like cover crops, reduced tillage, nutrient management, irrigation, water management. There's just a lot of stuff going on right now. And it used to be one big program. We used to have a couple big programs through the state and through NRCS, an environmental quality incentive program. Now there's all these climate smart programs with other partners running these programs like the American Farmland Trust, Farmers Union, Virginia Tech. It's almost overwhelming to keep up with all of this stuff. So it's a good time to visit your local USDA SWCD service center and find out what's happening.
Well, and the beauty of it is one of your main goals coming in here today, Logan, was to kind of maybe beat down some walls on how it's not all that hard to get that ball rolling. I know there's a lot of maybe older, mystique or older mindset thinking like, yeah, well, it's going to take me 2.5 weeks to even get in the door there, and they're never going to call me back, and I don't have an email, stuff like that. And you're here to say it's a lot more simple than that old motto. Yeah,
and we can actually see that throughout the county now with all the contracts and people coming in just asking questions, which is huge. If you don't know what you don't know, so why don't you ask? So basically, what we follow for conservation is 9 steps of planning, if you want to call it that, which is it's 9 steps. So first one, identify problems. Step 1. What does that actually look like? It's actually the farmer or the operator, producer, landowner sees an issue that he sees out on his property, or it's just us going about the county driving because we touch all aspects of the county. Sometimes we're even out of the county helping other counties as well.
Logan, I was just going to say that when I wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and I go, oh, there's a problem. That was step 1.
Yeah.
I identified the problem.
Yep. Yeah. So, basically identify the problem. What's going on, whether that's erosion happening on the fields. I can't follow you, Dennis.
Yeah. That's a good start to his day, though.
Right? Absolutely.
Waking up, looking in the mirror and say, oh, no,
there's a problem.
So then it's like, well, then you ask the question, what can I do? So that's when they either come to the office or they talk to their neighbor and be like, hey, did you have this problem? How'd you fix it? And they're like, well, I talked to the local NRCS, SWCD office, and they gave me some options. So what does that look like? It's determining objectives, basically, is what the second step of the plan is, and figure out what is my goal? How do I want this to look like in the next few years, whether it's next few years, next few days, or when my kids take over the farm. Then you inventory your resources, try to figure out, all right, how can I get this done? Whether that's working with NRCS, working with SWCD, and using those determined objectives to figure out how can I accomplish this correctly. And then you analyze resource data. Basically, that kind of goes hand in hand with inventory resources, you're analyzing your data, see like, okay, this is my current standard. How can I improve? And then you formulate alternatives. Okay, this is what we can do. What else can we do? Is this the only answer to my problem? Or is this the only solution? Most of the time it's not, but it really comes down to the operator and the landowner at that point to figure out what all they want to incorporate into their operation to fix the problem. So then you evaluate, figure out, yep, this is what I want to do. Then you make the decision.
Sure.
Whether that's working with us at NRCS, working with SWCD, trying to with the alternatives we give them to fix their problem. It's all completely up to the operator, which is what really cool with NRCS, SWCD. We're not enforcement.
There's no pressure. Or anything
we
like
don't
that.
make. I wouldn't be working for NRCS if we were enforcement, because that's not how I want to go about my daily business. We give them the options that they have, and they're like, "Yep, let's do this." And whether that's answering with the contract or just technical advice, etc., it's completely up to them for what they want to do. And then we make the decision, we implement the plan. And then the most important that's when
the fun begins.
Yeah, well, right. You can actually see this stuff happening on the ground.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite things is cover crops. Seeing that cover crop come up in the spring. Snow wasn't that too long ago, and then all of a sudden you see that rye, that oats popping on the ground. It's not just black, it's not just brown, it's not dead. It's actually life that's in the soil.
Poking through there.
Absolutely.
It's almost just like the sign of good things to come, basically.
Yep, absolutely. So then you evaluate. One of my most important steps, I think, is this actually working for the operator? Is this actually working for his operation and what his goals are? That kind of gets forgotten about a lot. And people say, yeah, let's just go, 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 go. No, let's take a step back. Let's look at what we've done. Is this what you want, essentially? And that's basically the same thing with SWCD. They follow the same steps as NRCS, and even they have some more resources that the NRCS doesn't have, and maybe even a little more flexibility when it comes to programs or when it just comes to technical service as well, which is what's a great partnership that we have. That's why we're here on the radio today.
Yeah, right. Excellent job, Logan. I was impressed.
Should have let this kid talk 25 minutes ago.
Yeah, right? Got it.
Well, somebody just kept talking about beer and stuff. Jeez, I just couldn't.
I noticed that
stop.
too. Dennis, he brings up some good points, though, from the fact that that with that opportunity, it is all just opportunity. It's not a pressure. It's no obligation. Your phone call, it's not going to, well, you're on the clock now, and here's where the meter's running type of deal. You guys are there to help and just trying to find ways to maybe solve some solutions and maybe save some money while you're at it.
Right, exactly. And the important thing is it's voluntary, and it's the landowner's decision on the best route forward. And we provide options that are proven to work, that is based on studies and other farmers in the area implementing those practices like cover crops. We know the best time to plant them. We know the best way to terminate. There's a lot of information that farmers have shared with us, and we share them with farmers that are trying to implement the new conservation practices on their farm. So yeah, we're a great team. I love working at the SWCD. We got great NRCS partners, FSA, Farm Service Agency. Just come on in, or give us a call at 251-7800 extension 3, and we'll come out to visit, or you can come in the office to visit, and we'll go through the 9-step planning process in a very informal way.
He likes the 9-step program over the 12-step program. I've noticed. That was a layup. Sorry. I had to get that in there. Logan, have you made your way into, have you got out into the fields at all yet? Have you been on site?
Yep. So as soon as that snow melted, we've been getting phone calls, and we've been having people just calling, but hey, what can we do? And I much rather prefer being on site rather than having the producer come to the office.
You told me months ago that you got into this because you wanted to get outside.
Yep.
You wanted to get some fresh air and stuff on your day-to-day basis. So sitting inside was, once that snow's gone, those days are over.
Hit the ground running, but we also got to remember, so normal rule of thumb is if you spend an hour outside, you're 2 hours in the office too, because you have to inventory all that stuff that you went through with the operator and figure out what is the best plan. Because you can sit and talk in the farmyard at the building site all day, but that doesn't get the job done.
So you're like my son then. You don't want to go back inside.
No, I never want to go back inside, ever. Nope, especially on a day like today. We're sitting in the radio station. We should be doing this outside.
Yeah, right.
No, we should have just popped this in the driveway or something like that.
That would be perfect.
So next time.
Yes.
Yeah, next time.
Right beside a beer garden.
When you have a grower call you, even if you don't have an existing relationship, you love just getting to know them and getting to know their goals and stuff like that, seeing what their plans are for the future.
Absolutely, because then you can only really get that when you're on the farm site. I truly believe that, because they're more comfortable. They're coming in. I'm more comfortable going out there to seeing what they have, because I'm more of a visual person rather than, I can write it all down on a piece of paper, but I can't really see it in my brain.
As opposed to a guy, then, I mean, like you said, once you're out there and they're more comfortable and you can walk around and they can say, oh, by the way, well, the by the ways is actually where the work gets done, I bet.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, you didn't think about that until you looked over there and saw that maybe.
Yep. And that just continues the conversation. Like I was telling Dennis on our way here today, you never know what the site visit's going to be. Is it going to be a 10-minute conversation, or is it going to be a 3-hour-long conversation? And it's those 3-hour-long ones that I actually truly enjoy the most, because that means the operator is more comfortable talking to you, and they're giving the information. And a lot of people, like around this part of the state in Stearns County, is a lot of people hold their cards close to their chest.
Sure.
They don't want too many people knowing, but we're here to help. And once they realize that, and then I normally give the spiel that, hey, we're not enforcement. You can tell me it's not going to go anywhere, but I can maybe identify some things that I worked with other producers. I won't give names or anything like that at all, but like, here, this is what this guy was dealing with. Here's how he fixed it. What do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? And that's that alternate, that analyzing your resources, trying to figure out alternatives, formulating a plan, and then making the decision.
And I was just going to say that if you're a farmer out there, now is a great time to take a look at your fields. If you're identifying, I had 1.8 inches on the east side of St. Cloud the other day, and I noticed just a couple areas in my yard that were eroding. And it's like, well, now I got some work to do. So if you're out in your fields and you identify some erosion areas, a great time to come into our office now and talk about strategies to solve that problem. If you're a lakeshore resident and the wave action is taking your shoreline away, and it's impacting your dock and your property, come in. We've got Greg Berg. He's our riparian specialist, also implementation team lead manager. He could help identify solutions to that problem. If you're mowing acres of grass and you're like, holy cow, I could have time spent watching Lake Henry kick Richmond's butt.
When was that?
Oh, that's the future. The future.
Oh, the future.
I'm seeing the future.
Okay, gotcha.
In the past, I don't like what happened in the past.
I don't recall this happening, but okay. Anyway.
But we do have pollinator programs, so come in the office. And as I drive around, I keep an eye out, because it's soil and water is my passion. Mm-hmm. I see areas where we're mowing acres of grass, and it's like, why? Why are we doing? We could have this all set into pollinator habitat. It'd be great for the environment. Less mowing, more time to do other things, spend time with family, or watch Lake Henry win ball games. So there's things to do, and talk to us. We may have a solution for you. And if not, we'll provide technical assistance to help you solve the problem yourself. If you don't want to wait for cost share assistance or incentives to show up, you just want some guidance on the best thing to do, we can provide that information.
Yeah, Dennis brings up a good point. We don't just work with farmers. We work with all landowners, whether that's a half acre, quarter of an acre, it doesn't matter. We work with everybody, and we have technical assistance for everyone, because it just comes down to a matter of scale, essentially.
Such a good point to bring up, Logan, because maybe some people would get scared away thinking that, no, you guys only deal with the 250-acre operations and stuff like that, where it's like, well, we have smaller scales as well, and there's opportunity for those who don't have the the big industry out there. Just give a call, right?
Yep, just give us a call. Call the office. Call my direct line. Yeah, definitely do that. 763-290-3458. I still have no idea what the office number is.
Hey, you got the first bunch of numbers right.
Right.
We're getting that one first, then we'll figure out the...
Absolutely.
Dennis, he said you brought up a good point. I thought he brought up a good point, too, saying that a lot of local growers hold things close to their chest. You don't have to go in all the way, and if you're worried about it and the neighbor's going to drive by and say, what the heck's Johnny doing over there this summer, where you could say, let's tuck it back behind the shed, over on the other side of the hill.
Yep.
And if that's where you want to start, that's a great place to start.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You don't have to do the whole farm. Start small, start with a field, and if you don't want it on the major road, put it on the back side of the property and give it a shot over there. Pollinator habitat, what the heck, we show it off. Put that right up by the road and let people see what you're doing. We also work with folks that have woodlands or forestry, grazing. So if you own land, come and see us. If you got a resource concern, trees are dying, you don't know what the heck to do for a replacement, we'll help identify or come up with a plan for replacement, reforestation. there's a lot of work that we can do with all the folks in Stearns County.
Through that, Dennis, having that opportunity, I know you guys are always busy in the summer. Do you have some cool events coming around the corner?
We have a conservation tour coming up, but this is an invite only. But after the conservation tours, this is where I'd like to see some listeners at the Boho Cafe. We're going to be celebrating Chuck Uphoff's 25-plus years as a SWCD supervisor.
Have you replaced him on the board?
No, we're working on that. And
are you still taking nominations for that?
Yeah.
You are?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's the 8 townships in the northwest portion of Stearns County. If you're interested in becoming a supervisor appointed to fill out the rest of Chuck's term, his term ends in December of 2026, and that would give you an opportunity to do that. And let me just finish the celebration. That'll be Thursday, June 13th. It'll start about 3:30 at the Boho Cafe. Chuck will be there along with myself and a bunch of other supervisors and other elected officials. We have a tour that morning. We're going to be looking at our conservation practices. We're inviting elected officials and other lead partners on that tour. But then afterwards is when we're going to celebrate. And after I get done speaking on a tour, I just love quenching my thirst from speaking all day. And I would love to have a beer with folks here in Stearns County.
Beer and bowl?
Beer and bowl.
No way. You?
That's
That never happens.
Yeah.
So Thursday, June 13th, mark your calendar right now to be at the Boho Cafe between 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon and celebrate with Chuck. He's just been an amazing SWCD supervisor, so involved with policy development and implementing conservation practices on his own farm, who his son Ross has taken over now, and just a great individual, and people that know him would say, "You darn right, he's a great guy." And come on over Thursday, June 13th. I'll see you over at the Boho Cafe, and about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then, speaking of supervisors, we have it's open right now to file for officials to be elected
On the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So county commissioners, state reps, they're all up for election. So if you're interested, Area 2, the supervisor for that area, I've got the supervisors' areas here, but I didn't have their name tied to it. But I'll just tell you, Area 2, Area 3, and Area 4, there's 3 supervisory positions open right now. One of those supervisors, and all of our supervisors are going to put their name back on the ballot, but you certainly can put your name on the ballot too. Arlen Lorenz, who represents the Holdingford area, Tom Gregory, who represents, not Tom Gregory, Matt Bruette, who represents farming in Collegeville, and Ken Sheffers, who represents Lake Henry, Spring Hill, St. Martin, that area. They're all putting their name on the ballot, but those spots are open. And if you're interested in applying as an SWCD supervisor to get your name on the ballot, you have to do that between May 21st and June 4th. So between today and June 4th, you got to go downtown, pay $20, and file for election down there. And we do have a great board right now, but definitely encourage anybody that's passionate about our resources to get their name on the ballot. And then we also have the vacancy for Chuck's, which is slightly different. That will be appointed by the board, and we do have one interested person at this time. And if there are other folks interested, give us a call at the office. They can talk to me, and I'll give the office phone number. Logan, pay attention. 320-251-7800, extension 3. And you can talk to me about the vacancy for Chuck Uphoff's position also. So there's several things going on there. Hopefully it's not too confusing. So we got the 3 openings area that you have to put your name on the ballot. You got to have that done by June 4th. And then we have the vacancy, which the board will be appointing somebody to complete Chuck's term. So
Other than that, nothing going on.
yeah, no, yeah. There's
Just twiddling the thumbs over at the end.
there's lots of. When I get back here in June, I think I'm going to be back June 26th on KASM.
I have the 27th.
27th, okay? Yes.
4 days after the Richmond Lake Henry game in Richmond.
Oh. tell you.
I might get to see you twice that week.
I don't know if your listeners can tell, but the atmosphere in this radio room is very thick. You could cut it with a knife.
Yeah, it's a fun rivalry. But,
it is.
When you come back, you'll be well into, June, having talked with a lot of growers and stuff like that. You should have a lot of fun information to keep you busy throughout May.
Yeah, definitely. And both Logan and I have got some announcements with staffing. Tessa Grieve on our team is now has left the Stearns SWCD to become a full-time mom, which is awesome. And we had an advertisement open for a conservation planner. The board approved now proceeding, instead of hiring just one conservation planner, we'll be hiring two. One to bring on the additional person, and then also to backfill Tessa's position. And those interviews will be happening here in June. So we should have an announcement on who our new staff person is
Nice.
coming up. And we had 8 applicants for that, ranging from fresh out of college to somewhat experienced. So we're very excited to interview those folks, the qualified candidates. And then NRCS recently brought on some interns and a full-time forester. Logan, you wanted to cover that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, as we were talking about all different types of land uses, we actually brought on a forester, Roland Notch, just started on Monday. So we're going to try to get him on the show, too. So he would not only be doing the forestry stuff, but he's also a planner first. So he will also be working with all different types of landowners, not just farmers, not just landowners with forest. He'll be doing the whole gamut, just like the rest of us. And you also got Michael Ibarra. He's a returning intern for NRCS, so he just started on Monday as well. So we'll have him through the summer, and I believe he has one more semester left. And he'll be also a full-time NRCS soil conservationist with the USDA. And then we have Rachel Fisher, who is an intern through the College of Ag that just started a couple weeks ago. So she's been in the field quite a bit. We're going to start doing some CRP inventories. We're going to do some EQIP site visits, farmstead site visits, conservation stewardship program visits, along with assisting SWCD staff as needed.
Yeah, Rachel was out at our private well testing event at the Boho Cafe last week, helping get people registered. Did a fantastic job, a great intern to have on the team. Michael, having him back, he's got he already has experience working in our office, and it's just, these interns are the future. So we're very excited to have them on our team in the office. And we had to rearrange our office to squeeze people in.
We're almost busting at the seams at this point.
So.
Chris has been demoted to the parking lot. Or...
I don't know if we can have him that close.
I was actually thinking with these kids coming in, this new blood, that and Chris greeted each of them with a nice home-cooked meal or something like that.
You have to show up in order
Yeah,
to
that
do
would
that.
be. To make your way to the office.
He's still acting.
Yeah,
right?
acting. Yep. He comes back June 2nd, I believe, or
Gotcha.
whatever that Monday is.
Yeah.
Coming around the corner.
Yep.
You'll get Chris back in your life on the 3rd.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it'll be good to have him back, and then you can hit the ground running with some new experiences that he's learned being an assistant to the state con down in the southeast, I believe, is where he's at. And yeah, once we have him back, we'll be at a full force team again, and we'll continue to get the conservation on the ground.
Chris getting closer and closer to Iowa, his dream, right?
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
Up to. Well, guys, we got to 10 o'clock on a day you told me you didn't have a ton of stuff to talk about. So.
Yeah, well, and I'd like to thank Logan for filling in for Chris. Logan's been a great person to add on to the team here, and just so willing to help us out on KASM Radio, and does a great job, and really enjoy having him on our team too. So thank you, Logan, for helping us out.
Yeah, good job, Logan.
Come back anytime you need me.
Tell Chris that he can go pound sand some other day, and you can make your way right in here, okay?
I'm going to send him this recording of this radio show.
Brittany will get the email in about 5 minutes. So
Perfect.
Dennis, Logan, we appreciate you guys coming in. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we'll catch you next time, okay?
Well, thank you, Kirby, and go Lakers.
Oh, man, this guy. I'll have to delete that out of Brittany's recording, but there is on.